Let me know if you see it.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah, looks like we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. We're live.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to
To
Yahweh,
Yahweh, Bahashim,
Bahashem,
Yahweh
Yahushai,
Shai, Bahashim,
Bahashem,
Kakadash.
Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. All right, I wanted to go into this lesson here. All right, based on this whole situation with the Suez Canal.
Mhm.
All right, which is basically blocked right now. All right, because of this let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, it's one of the cargo ships. All
Hmm.
right, has is one of the supply cargo ships has blocked off over there, and I believe this happened starting since last week Tuesday. All
Hmm.
right, and I believe a brother did a video on it, but this is all going to prophecy.
Hmm.
Okay, like that we're gonna bring out. This is all going into prophecy. All right, it's beautiful, man, because it's something that we didn't even think about.
Right.
And today the spirit hit me. I was like, wait a minute, like I know there's something going on, but the news is not really bringing it out.
Hmm.
So it's actually a friend of mine who was telling me about it, and I was like, yo, let me go into it. So I spoke to the brother about it, and then the spirit just hit, and we said, yo, let's just do a lesson on it, because that's all part of prophecy.
Right.
So without further
Impromptu.
ado, huh?
It's an impromptu.
Impromptu con, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Right. And that's what we've been also talking about, how recently or lately that spirit of peace and safety is really sweeping through and grabbing a lot of people up. And being that the Passover just passed, a lot of spirits are out, affecting people, so on and so forth. So something is definitely going to happen, about to happen soon. All right, that's why we got to always be in that mindset, as Paul said, not to be asleep, but to be sober minded and watching. So this is from CNBC. It says Suez Canal blockage is delaying an estimated 400 million an hour in goods.
$400 million, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Con.
And that's an hour. So you just think about it, that this is affecting the global economy. It's not just one or just the Suez Canal that's going to affect Asia and Europe, but this is going to affect the United States as well. It's going to affect Africa, because now, because of this blockage, you have other cargo ships that are on the way, all right, who are going to go through the Suez Canal. They are also getting blocked off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a legit cargo, ships that are blocked off and stacked on each other because one has stopped and everything has to kind of like stack on there. And those who have heard that there is a block in the Suez Canal, now they have to go through Cape Verde, which is what the Horn going underneath Africa. So for them to be able to travel to other parts as well. So this is
Mhm.
affecting a lot of commerce, if you will.
Right.
And what's happening too is that now they have the cargo ships. They have to pay more on in travel expenses, because now the trip, instead of going through the canal, all right, to shorten the trip, now you have to go through the whole part of Africa, which is what you're spending a lot more money.
Yep.
So I guess there was an estimate that
Mhm.
since Tuesday they've been trying to get this ship that's been blocked in there. They've been trying to get it out since Tuesday, and then they're spending thousands of euros, thousands of pounds, thousands of euros to try to get it out, and they still can't get it out, man. So that's
Right.
spiritual,
Yeah.
you know.
Con. Con,
So
exactly. Yep. The brother said here, GMS soldiers for the Most High 144 con. The detour around the canal takes 5 days. You know, so that's slowing things down. Like you said, that's more money. So that means that the taxes on it are going to be increased to accommodate for that.
mhm.
But also, in a flowing, all right, economy, you need a constant. It's like a chain. You need a constant flow of things coming in, things going out, things coming in, things going out. So the second somewhere within that chain or that cycle something is hindered, slowed down, broken, all right, that is going to have a whiplash effect. Okay, and even something so small can have such a great effect, all right, on other nations. Because if now these nations who are directly in the east are getting affected, how much more for those in the west who get things imported from those nations in the east? All right. Um,
And yeah, as we before we get into it, real quick, just to add on to what you just said, it's affecting. It's like a chain reaction, you know. So one thing is happening is going to affect, is going to have a domino effect, because now you can see a spike in prices of gas, because the oil tankers are also going through the Suez Canal to provide the oils for these different countries. All right, so you can expect gas prices to go up. Okay, you can expect things like toilet paper. You women, for example, your menstrual pads that you use, you can expect that to go high. A lot of things that are imported, all right, to these different countries, whether it's America, Europe, Asia, Africa. This is all one thing here can affect everything, man. So like that's what we're saying. This could lead to what a whole global market shutdown, a whole global economic crash, which is what the elites want anyway. So they could restart the whole global system under using that RFID microchip. And also the vibration is lately you've seen a lot of wars and rumors of wars, man. So we're
Mhm.
literally in the time of Yahushua's return, really, because he said, before my return, these are things that you will see. And we're
Mhm.
seeing those things. Part of the prophecies have happened, all right, and part of it is happening now, all right. So we have seen a lot of those prophecies that Yahushua spoke of to happen have happened. Okay, we're seeing some happening now with kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation. There's been a lot of sedition among men, riots, protests. This whole COVID lockdowns. A lot of countries are tired of it. A lot of people are tired of it. People protesting against this vaccine. Okay, so there's a lot of division, and on top of that, you're looking at a famine, which this could very well be the opening to that famine, man, that global famine.
Mhm.
So hey, it's all spiritual, man. You got Russia, sending their military to Donbass. All right, that's a video that, Lord willing, if the spirit is willing, I'll do a separate video on that. That's all going to the Lord. All right, putting that spirit of war and attracting the nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat. It's building up. That spirit of World War III is starting to brew up, man. So everything is literally headed to the end. All right, but let's get
Con,
into this real quick.
I was able to pull up another article which I think we could use that one instead because
Okay,
it goes more into it.
all right.
So let me see that.
And as you do that, man, we gotta we gotta keep in mind, man, a lot of these prophecies are happening, but we gotta pray for the Lord to open our eyes to see it as what it is, because it's happening. But if we're not really paying attention to how it's happening, what is happening, because the media is not really, putting a heavy emphasis on it, it doesn't mean that it's not part of prophecy. The media
Right.
is trying to hide prophecies, but we got to be able to see the prophecies and give warning. You know,
Con, con. You're
um,
right. All right, so I got it.
yeah.
All right, so it says here. Let me go all the way to the top. All right, so it says Suez Canal, how blockage of most pivotal node in the trading network impacts consumers. All right. Now it says here, the cargo ship blocking the Suez Canal is holding up traffic that carries nearly $10 billion worth of goods every day. So a quick clearing of the logjam is key to limiting the economic fallout. See that? Limiting the economic fallout. They've already accepted that. No, it's there's gonna be fallout already. The next best thing we can do right now is to limit it as best as possible.
Mhm.
It says efforts continue Thursday to dislodge the ever given container ship and restore traffic on the critical man-made waterway that connects the Mediterranean to the Red Sea and
Mhm.
provides a shipping shortcut between Europe and Asia.
Mhm.
Which is also spiritual because Suez, we crossed when oh that's a spirit. You see that? Oh, you missed it. Is that 144?
Yeah, I saw it quick.
Nice try, man, real quick. The Gulf of Suez is where we cross through.
You're back.
It's
You're
got it
back.
right there. Yep, that's it. Yeah, the Gulf of Suez is where we crossed through. When we were fleeing from Egypt.
Mhm.
All right, and now we're in what the modern day Egypt, and being that the Passover just passed. So it's all spiritual. How this thing is blocking the Suez Canal.
And if
But
you could pull up a map, or you could just type it in so brothers and sisters can see it. I pulled it up right now. Just type in Gulf of Suez and Suez Canal.
all right,
Yeah, when you go down to images, you're gonna see like it's the top four, the one on the bottom. It shows you the map of Egypt, where Egypt is located, and where we crossed as a nation of Israel. Normally they say the Red Sea, but it's actually the Gulf of Suez. All right, it shows you, and then it also shows you the Suez Canal as well, which connects
Mhm.
to the Mediterranean Sea. So it has, you can go through the Red Sea, through the Gulf of Suez, and then the canal, the Suez Canal right there, leads you into the Mediterranean, which is that great sea, all right, that's spoken of in the book of Revelation that we're gonna also bring out through the Spirit. Yeah, that one. I don't know if you could zoom into it. Yeah, yeah, boom. There you go. So you see how it connects. That Suez Canal is very, very important, all right, in terms of trade. All right. So you have to go through the Red Sea. And now that it's blocked off, you have to go down. If you could zoom out, you got to go down through underneath Africa. I don't think it could show you here.
We're here. Like go
Um,
to the left side and then go
Yeah,
all the way
on the
down.
bottom, on the right side, yeah, it's gonna go down through underneath Africa all the way around to get to the other nations that you have to, instead of cutting through the canal that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna lead into Europe and so on and so forth. Now you have to go around Africa to get to, the European countries over there.
Gone.
So,
And there's always, and that's why they had all these trade routes too, because it was very key, the quickest route to get goods from one area to another.
yep.
And the Mediterranean is what connects, majority of these land masses. So that's why to connect from here to here is very important
Hmm.
because with all these, number one, to go by land is extremely costly. All
Yeah.
right, much more work.
Right.
So it's easy to just follow the path of the water, But if you're blocked right here, that's backing up really business because you can't go through up, you can't go around. It's all land,
Hmm.
you know. So like the brother said, you got to go all the way around, and in order to get that out there, it's the spirit how the Lord had it to where they've tried and tried and tried, but He's still blocking it for some reason,
Hmm.
you know. So
Right.
let me pull up the article again, and
Yeah.
it's going to go into how exactly this affects consumers. How is it going to affect your every day to day life?
Hmm.
So it says here, how vital is the canal to shipping? It says about 10% of all global trade flows through the 120-mile long, 193-kilometer long canal, which allows tankers and container ships to avoid a long trip around the southern tip of Africa.
Hmm.
The brother mentioned. It says the Economic Shipping Journal Lloyd's list estimates that goods worth $9.6 billion pass through the canal every day. All right. Lloyd says about $5.1 billion of that traffic is westbound and $4.5 billion is eastbound. Okay. And what's to the west? Here. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, so it says here about one-fourth of that traffic is on container ships, like the one that is currently burrowed into the side wall of the canal. Lloyd's says that more than 50 ships traverse the canal on an average day, carrying 1.2 billion tons of cargo. So imagine that. All right, all of that being backed up, not just for one day, all right, but continuously. Okay, all these consecutive days is backing up.
Right. So what's going to happen is, you have in commerce, all right, for the consumers, you have something called demand and supply. All right. I know people normally say supply and demand is actually demand and supply because whatever is demanded is how you have to supply it. Now, if in this case, a lot of essentials that we mentioned earlier about toiletries and canned goods and so many different things that we have to use in our day-to-day lives, that's a demand. Now, what happens is that the supply, which is the cargo ships that are supplying to these different countries, and then you have the trade and so on and so forth, every little step, once one step is blocked off, it affects every other step. All right. And right now we're seeing what's going to happen is the stores that have the supplies, once the supplies run out that they need to be supplied, the supply is being blocked off right now. So yeah, everything that is being used up right now is what's being stored up. So the things that once they see that the supply isn't coming, we have to increase the price because you can't just come in and just buy toiletries $10 for a whole pack. No, now we don't have as much to give, so it has to go to $100 a pack. If you can afford it, you buy it, and now you got to use it wisely until we get a new supply. And at this point, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any new supplies because they can't even get out the first block in the first place.
Right.
We've been trying since Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Since Tuesday, they've had constructors and also all sorts of things, money poured in there to try to pull out this thing, and it's still there, and it's blocking off from other cargo ships from passing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all the Lord doing that, man.
That's right.
The time of prophecy.
That's
You
right.
know, but go ahead.
Con. So it says, what effect will this have on supply chains? When it comes to shipping goods from Asia to Europe, there are virtually no alternatives, such as rail or truck transportation,
Mm,
says Sharat Ganapati. It says an economics professor at Georgetown University. The blockage will delay a range of parts and raw materials from European products, such as cotton from India for clothes, petroleum from the Middle East for plastics, and auto parts from China, he said. And the raw materials, that's the real problem because the raw materials make a majority of things that we use.
right.
So if the actual core, the raw material is being withheld, that's going to affect you in more ways than one.
Hmm.
Not only in the things you eat, but the things you wear, and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
All right.
Right. Something like oil.
Mm-hmm.
Oil is gas, crude oil, and that's what they use, crude oil, and then they go through the process and then they make so many different things out of that. Now, once that production is blocked off, it stops a lot of things because a lot of things run on oil, gas. You have factories that need the gas. You have cars that need the gas. You have buildings that need the gas. You have so many different things that plays off of just one thing being shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So everything being interconnected, it's easy for these elites to harp on this one thing and bring down the whole global economy. All right. So we see it. We could see what's happening. We could see the build up to it, because it's all part of prophecy. We could see it happening, and we could see the famine, that the great famine that I talked about, and many great prophets of old have spoken of. All right. And even the UN have even prophesied about it. They said it. Last year, they were bringing it out about how we're looking at a famine that could be, like a 50-year drought type of famine. You have a lot of economists, all right, have been talking about, yo, we might not even have Christmas this year. The economy is looking as bad as forget about a depression. This is a complete collapse. That's it. Ain't that like we going down? No, we're already at a collapse. That's why they keep giving out these stimulus checks, to keep it stimulated, to hold it up a little bit. But it's looking like even as much stimulus as they're going to keep giving, it's not going to stop this collapse, man. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's a global collapse. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's prophecy, and prophecy must be fulfilled. And
Mm-hmm.
like the brother mentioned, gas, guess what? Trucks use gas. But what do these trucks do? They deliver goods from factories to stores
Hmm.
and vice versa. So now you think, okay, well, oil, all right, that's going to affect gas, not just for you driving, but for those truck drivers. That's also going to affect things that those truck drivers bring.
Yep.
You see, so that's why they call it a chain. If
Supply chain.
it's supply chain. Once a part is broken, the whole thing falls,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it says the fact that you have the most pivotal node in the trading network being blocked is going to have important welfare effects around the world, said Juan Fong Wong. It says an economics professor at the University of Oregon. There will be less direct impact on the United States, which receives most shipments from Asia on the West Coast. Still, imports from Europe may be delayed, and the blockage will prevent empty shipping containers from being returned to Asia, adding to a container shortage caused by rising demand for consumer goods during the pandemic. If you get a
Right. Hey, slut. And this is spirit because, like the scriptures say, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them like a woman that travaileth, and they shall not escape. Now, notice the so-called pandemic already affected a lot of things. So you haven't even gotten to the point where, okay, we just got back out of the pandemic, we're back to normal. This is happening while you thinking you're gonna get back on your feet. So it's as if the Lord is mocking you and saying, when you thought you were done with all this, then I'm gonna hit you with another
Yeah,
plague.
that's it.
So this is going into the plagues of Egypt. So you just got out of one, like the scripture says, where it
Yeah,
says
it's spiritual because look at that. It says right there.
Suez, Egypt, boom.
That's it.
Boom. So hey, yo, this is, hey man, call Lord Yahweh Shem El Shah, man. This is it. You know, the Lord is about to start plaguing Egypt with a whole bunch of plagues. So you might think, oh, I just got out of this one. Then he's going to hit you with another one. Now you're looking at what? You just looked at a pestilence, a so-called pestilence, all right, which is this COVID thing. But the real pestilence is going to be
Yeah,
in
the seed, the seed. Let's call it the seed.
the seed. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, the seed that taketh many souls. Now you gonna have to deal with that because, like we've been saying, once they activate this thing, they said what over 100 million Americans have already received it. That's gonna be the real pestilence. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of dead people out of this thing. All right, and then you also got famine on top of that. All right, so that's two plagues right there that Yahushua spoke about: pestilence, famines, earthquakes. We've been seeing a lot of earthquakes. Okay, ain't that all the signs that you need to know that we are indeed at the end? Yesterday, you had this fucking demon, Little Nas X. All right, I don't know if you've seen the video. Satanic as all hell. You know, even my Eve was watching. She's like, "Oh my goodness, babe, what is this?" I was like, "Hey, that's the gateway. They're
Mm-hmm.
showing you that they finally reached that pinnacle of evil and wickedness to the point where they don't even have to hide it no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this dude
Yep.
is he's doing a whole bunch of abominable, filthy acts and depicting himself being with so-called Satan.
I got a precept when you're done.
And
No, no, finish.
yeah, and this is like they showing you, they put it in your face, and this is the gateway, all right, that you really now, after this shit, now you're gonna be seeing a lot more, satanic videos. Now it's like, okay, we've opened the door, people now can accept it, they've seen it, we saw the reaction, people are like, yo, Jesus is really coming. Damn, but this is really the satanic kingdom. Yes, you know. And I was telling my brother this yesterday, like if we were to read about America, like let's say we're reading about this kingdom right now, how it's constituted. If we were in the future, or let's say in the past or whatever, and we read about it as a concept that we're reading about, we'd be like, oh hell no, damn, that place is wicked, bro. Imagine this shit, like, damn, we had to live it. And we're living it. Like if we were to read about this shit, what we're living, we'll be like, oh hell no, how is the Lord even allowing this? You see? So you can imagine what the Lord is gonna do to this place, man. You know what the Lord is gonna do to this place. So, like I said, that video was an opening for more demonic, videos that you're gonna be seeing. You're gonna be seeing straight up homosexual acts right in the video. You're gonna be seeing all kinds of satanic shit. They're gonna be showing you them drinking babies' bloods and killing babies, and they will do all these different things now. They'll show you the rituals and how they do it, and they're gonna put it in art form so people might look at it and be like, oh, that was crazy. Yeah, damn, that's bold, man. This, but they show you what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be surprised when that happens because we are at the end. But you had a precept.
Gone. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 9.
Mhm.
It says, they show their countenance, or the show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom, they hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves.
There you go. Yep. So Lil Nas X gonna eat missiles, and everybody else who's encouraging that thing and accepting those kind of things, they eat missiles. His father gonna eat missiles, definitely eat missiles. He said, "I'm proud of you, blah blah. Live life how you want to live it." As a father, Israelite father, bro. Like that's it. So hey, this is all the Lord. The Lord really about to put the fire up in this place, man. And He's gonna put the squeeze on you people because you people are wicked and you deserve everything that's coming. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
peace and safety, sudden destruction is coming. Let's see how the Lord plays it out.
That's
You
it.
know, these devils are planning for May 1st, May Day, Illuminati birthday. So hey, they need to have the feast of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta have the sacrifices. So they're showing you Satan. Last year they had a video, the app, the dating app that
Oh
said,
yeah, a
yeah,
a
match,
match in
yeah,
hell, match made in
yeah,
hell.
yeah, Con. So they already showing you like, yeah, they put it in a joking form, like satire, but it's facts. Like this is what they do. But let's get back to this one real quick.
Con. So it says, if you get a bump in one place, this is going to percolate through the system. Basically percolate, permeate. It's going to go through, filter through. Um, Ganapati said, "Hmm, it's going to take a while to get things to get ungumped up." All right. Let's see. All right. So here it says, is the supply chain in trouble? It says the Suez situation could compound issues for a supply chain already under pressure from the pandemic and a surge in buying.
Hmm.
Virus-related restrictions have trapped crews on merchant ships. Congested ports have led to container ships anchoring off the California coast. unable to dock, and unable to unload their goods. Shortages in semiconductors and rare earth elements have plagued manufacturers of cars and other consumer products. So you're already going through it, and then the Lord hits you with a boom. You know, it says we have lots of things indicating a vulnerable supply chain at risk for disruptions.
Hmm.
And now you put one more thing on top of that, said Julie Swan, a logistics expert at North Carolina State University. He said it's like when Biden slipped the first time, he's trying to get up, and then boom, he falls again. Then he's trying to. Then the third time, he said, "Nah, stay
Yeah.
down." Nigga said, "Nah, I'm getting back up."
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so it says how will consumers be impacted? It says it's possible that the U.S. consumers will feel some impact if shipping is disrupted for more than a few days. Well, we already seen that it's more than a few days, right?
Hmm.
All right. So it says finished products from Asia to the United States go over the Pacific. However, some components for products that are assembled in Europe and shipped to the US could be delayed by the canal closure. Exactly. You know, um, because it's not necessarily about them shipping it from, like you can say, all right, they could ship it from Europe to US, they could ship it from Asia to US. But the problem is getting the necessary things they need to them so they can manufacture it and then ship it, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm. Hey, and also there are something called maritime laws, all right, which are the laws of the sea, and then you have the laws of the land. But with the laws of the sea, all right, ships have to go through certain protocols. You can't just grab a ship and just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go over this water. And nah, why do you think there's always some type of conflict in the South China Sea?
Hmm.
It's because you have to go through certain protocols.
Right.
They use certain words, like you have to go through them. It's called maritime something laws. I forgot,
Hmm.
airtime laws or something like that. Oh, maritime admiralty laws. There you go. Maritime admiralty laws. These are laws that are put in place for the waters. All right, the laws of the waters. So if you're on the waters, you have to go by certain rules. So that's why you can't just say, oh, well, this ship could just jump over from Asia over here. No, no, no. You have to go through certain places.
Right.
Plus they have to make their money. These countries got to make some type of money. So if you're gonna go through their canal or their waters or whatever, you have to pay certain wages, if you will,
Hmm.
certain percentages and so on and so forth. So this thing literally affects money. It affects commerce. It affects currency. It affects life in general. And
Hmm.
it affect the economy.
Yep.
The global economy.
Yeah. See, people don't pay attention because it hasn't hit them yet. They see it coming, but they don't. It's not affecting their house, so they think, oh yeah, it's over there still. No,
Hmm.
things that are far off are gonna affect you. That's why you gotta. The scripture says, "Be not ignorant of any matter, small or great." All right. Now the brother put Bun Shal Yasharala put my job feeling it with the chip shortages for vehicles. I work in the plant making fuel tanks. See, so it's
Hmm.
happening, but Jake, a lot of people think that nothing is happening because it hasn't been on such a large scale. That it has affected them. In their individual lives. And the brother put it on here. Chakam Ban Yamyun, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And that's one thing about these prophecies is that the way the Lord does it is they hit you suddenly, but sometimes they come out of nowhere, loud and clear.
Hmm.
Sometimes they creep up on you.
Yep.
Something that may seem like a small thing, it grows and it grows and it grows and it gets bad and it gets bad and it gets worse. And now you're like, damn, I didn't even, my eyes weren't even focused on this. But look at how crazy it was. Sometimes the Lord will hit you like that, with these prophecies, man.
Hmm. And sometimes it's always the ones that seem the smallest that makes the greatest impact.
That's
You
right.
know, like for example, the so-called the microchip. They
Hmm.
say it's a grain of rice. They keep emphasizing it's as small as a grain of rice. Why do they keep saying that? Because they letting you know, oh, it's not a serious thing. It's not dangerous. Look how small it is. It's not going to do anything. So why are they putting so much emphasis in it? Because they know that's the key to your soul. Once
Mhm.
they get that in you, that's it.
Mhm.
And that's your whole living, your whole life, your soul itself that belongs to Yahweh Shemi Shai. They want to take that over.
Mhm.
So yeah, so sometimes you might look at the smallest things and be like, oh yeah, this is of no significance. In the Lord, doesn't the Lord always deal with small numbers? Doesn't the Lord always deal with small things? You know what I'm saying? And makes them great. The scriptures say that what he has taken the base things out of this world to confound the wise.
Mhm.
The foolish things out of this world to confound the wise. So yeah, we might be looked at as insignificant, but look the impact that we're having. Look at Esau trying to come at us. You know, we look at prophecy sometimes. That's why the scriptures say that the prophets of old were known as seers. Because they see things that most people wouldn't see or people wouldn't even pay attention to. Oh, it's such an insignificant thing. That's not a big deal. But that insignificant thing is that thing that leads to many significant things.
Mhm.
And you have to see it first. You have to see the first step to understand that there are many steps after that.
Mhm.
This right here is a very big step. All
Mhm.
right. So let's keep going. Oh, and
Little
real
little
quick,
drops make a mighty ocean.
little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. Real quick, the water for that. I just
Mhm.
want to bring out real quick Admiralty law or maritime law because I mentioned it. It says is a body of law that governs nautical issues and private maritime disputes. Admiralty law consists of both domestic law on maritime activities and private international law governing the relationships between private parties operating or using ocean-going ships. All right, so those are laws that governs the ocean and ships that run on them. All
Mhm.
right. So we got it.
That's right. And I got a quick precept. All right,
Mhm.
this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 21. Uh, let me see. All right, chapter 21, verse 9. It says, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished.
Mm.
All right, it is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth?
Mm.
It contemneth the rod of my son as every tree, and he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give into the hand of the slayer.
That's it.
All right. So the Lord is saying here, all right, through the mouth of Ezekiel, that a sword is sharpened. Now, what do you use a sword for? Is a killing instrument.
Hmm.
But even worse, the Lord said it is sharpened to be put into the hand of the slayer. You have a killing instrument in the hand of a killer. That's what a slayer is.
Right.
All right. And you put those two together, that's a deadly combination right there.
Hmm.
Okay. And that's what the Lord is saying. All right. Because these prophecies, majority of the main prophecies left are not pretty prophecies.
Yep.
All right. They're gonna lead to some pretty gruesome things,
Hmm.
to some very, very painful and harsh and scary times. The scriptures say that an evil has come, and only evil has come.
Mm.
All right. So you're looking around, you're seeing things, and it looks normal. People are chilling, but in the scriptures say that evil is coming, only evil, not good. You know,
Hey,
should I, you know, should I go with what the world is saying? Should I go with the scriptures? You know.
yeah. Hey, and what does evil mean? Bad time. So bad times are coming.
Hmm.
You know, a
Hmm.
time is what a specific allotted, period. All right, that things are gonna take place. You know.
Jacob's trouble.
Yeah.
Jacob's trouble. Yep.
Mhm.
All right. So I'll read a little bit of this, and we get some precepts. Um, it says here, what about oil shipments? About 1.9 million barrels of oil a day go through the canal, according to Lloyd's. That's about 7% of seaborne oil. The closure could affect shipments of oil and natural gas from the Middle East to Europe. S&P Global Platts Analytics said about 1 million barrels of crude and 1.4 million barrels of gasoline and other refined products flow from the Middle East and Asia north through the canal to Europe on an average day. All right. Imagine that every day. And you know how there's a reason 1.5 million barrels go through every day because what they of the crude of the barrels of the gasoline, but because it's constantly being used up so quickly. So you constantly need to re-up. You constantly need to keep the supply going. That's why it's called a supply chain. All right. So you constantly need to keep it going. Once you break it, it halts a lot. It's like a machine that takes a long time to get started, and then you stop it. It's gonna take a while before you can get it back to the pace that it was before.
Yep.
All right.
Hmm.
Um, it says Jim Burkhan or Burkhardt, who heads the crude oil research at IHS Market, said the impact on the global oil market will be limited if the canal is cleared soon. All right. But who's just maybe the most I don't want it cleared soon. Energy demand is still weak due to the pandemic, and the summed pipeline has unused capacity to move oil around the canal from one end near Alexandria, Egypt, to a terminal near the Red Sea. If this were to last a month, there are other options. You can still sail around Africa, of course. That would add cost. Burkhardt said.
Put a card.
Huh? Burkhardt.
Hmm.
All right. If this ship is moved into the next week, it will be a footnote in history when it comes to the oil market. Now, I actually have a precept going into, I believe it's in the book of Zephaniah, the first chapter. All right, because it is according to prophecy that there will be, all right, a great crashing of the world economies.
Hmm.
All right, and that crashing because and even for these elites, in order for them to bring their new system in, they say it all the time that they need to do away with the old system. They need to update and upgrade.
Hmm.
But if there's nothing wrong with the old, why bring a new?
Yep.
So now you need to have a problem with the old to bring a new. That's why all of a sudden all the negatives are being highlighted all of a sudden. You know.
Hmm.
So this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 10. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills." All right. And the hills represent, basically like the lesser forms of these governments. All right. But these governments run on an economy. That's like the connecting of the people to the government to keep society flowing. You have laws, but you have an economy which everybody contributes to. All right. So when there's a crashing of that, everything gets halted. All right. It says, verse 11, "How, ye inhabitants of Maktish," and Maktish was like a trade city, basically. Like you would have like sometimes the Phoenicians will come. You would have people from different parts that would come, and that would be the place. Like today, you have modern day Wall Street.
Hmm.
And they would come and trade their different goods. Okay.
Hey, you have modern day New York.
Yeah.
Wall Street is in New York, but New York is like Mactish. It's literally a place where you can find anything.
Hmm.
People say they'd be like, "Yo, what kind of food do you want that you're not gonna find in New York?"
Hmm.
All the five boroughs, you're gonna go there. You're gonna find something. You want Caribbean food, you get out here in New York. You want Chinese food, is out here in New York. You want African food is here in New York. You want Edomite food, is everything is here. And
Hmm.
why is that? Because this is the main place where people can do commerce. They can come from different countries, come in here, set up their tents, like the scriptures say, right? And then they can make their money, and then they can go back home. It's this is literally a trade spot. A hot cake, if you will.
Right. A
You know,
melting pot.
melting pot. It's gonna melt too.
That's it.
Right?
That's it. Is. That's it. So Zephaniah 1 and 11, "How,
Mhm.
ye inhabitants of Maktish, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off." All right. And who are the merchant people? Who are they that bear silver? The investors. All right. These companies, these heads of these companies, these stock markets, the not stock markets, but the stock shareholders. All right. These are likened onto the merchant people and they that bear silver. And an example of them being cut off was what happened in, I believe, 2007. A lot of them, when that crash happened, a lot of them committed suicide
Yeah,
because
2008, 2009. Yeah.
yeah, it's like okay, right around that time, a
Mhm.
lot of them committed suicide because they were cut off. Their power was just like that. All right.
Yep.
Um. All right. So that's pretty much it on that part. Um.
Hmm.
Actually, let me finish this last paragraph, and then we can bring on any other presets we got. I'll
Con.
put the link to this article in the chat section as well. So it
Mhm.
says the price of benchmark international crude rose after the blockage, but prices retreated Thursday. Analysts contributed Analysts attributed the price drop to an industries group's report of large U.S. inventories and concern that pandemic-related lockdowns in Europe will further dent demand for energy, outweighing concern about the stuck ship. And one thing that these devils always do is they try to brakata. They
What?
try to do what do they call that? Damage control. So they'll come out here and they'll tell you, oh this, oh that, oh this. When you actually you're looking at it for yourself and you're like, hold up, nah, this sounds much worse than how you're making it sound.
Hmm.
It's like you're making it sound like it's easy, but it looks much worse than that. All right, that's what they do. They specialize in that because a key thing to their solution is your reaction, problem, reaction, solution.
Yep.
Okay, and how they control your reaction. All right, because sometimes they cause a problem to observe your reaction,
Hmm.
and sometimes they cause a problem to control your reaction. Sometimes they want your reaction to be a specific way, and
Hmm.
sometimes they want to get details or information on what your reaction would be.
Hmm.
All right. Um, okay, so let's see. I'm
Let's
gonna
get
jump.
Revelation 9 and 14.
Okay, you say you had it?
Yeah, I could bring it out.
No, 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 no. I got my phone out, so I'll get it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 9. You start at where?
Start off at um start off at 13.
God. This
Actually,
is
start off at 12.
12, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 12. It says, one woe was past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter.
Right. And this is when the Lord showed John the Revelator, all right, his the vision of World War I, all right, and also World War II, and also ultimately World War III. All right. Now some of them he doesn't give you details of World War III, for example. All you know is the end of World War III. You see it says America destroyed Babylon, the greatest fallen. All right. We know that's going to be as part of the result of World War III. All right. But here he's saying one woe is past, which when you read from the first verse all the way down to the 11th verse is a description of World War I. Okay. It says, and behold, there come two woes more after. That's talking about World War II and World War III. All
Hmm.
right. Continue verse 13.
Right. It says, and the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before the Most High, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates.
Right. And when you look at where the great river Euphrates is located a little bit to the east, just a little bit to the east of the Mediterranean, which this is all this the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, and everything like that is around that same area. Okay, is around that same area. So you have the Red Sea, which is at the bottom, all right, and then you have the Gulf of Suez, which leads right into the Suez Canal that leads into the Mediterranean Sea, and then on the right hand side you have Israel and all that, and then you also have a little bit above that you have the Mediterranean, the Euphrates River right there, and of course the Tigris as well. So that's what the Lord is saying. Oh, that's what John the Revelator is saying, that what he saw the angels. All right, the it says loose the Lord what loose the four angels which were bound in the great river Euphrates. Okay, so right now you could see, all right, the Lord loosening those angels. You could see the plagues, all right, being loosed, all right, little by little. And this is a big, yeah, you go, there you go. So the blue
That's the Euphrates,
Euphrates,
that's
yeah.
the Tigris,
Hmm.
and then you have the Suez Canal, which is here, and then you have the Red Sea, which is down here.
And then
Yeah.
of course you have the Mediterranean, which is right there.
Yep.
See, so
Yep.
you can see how the angels, because remember, one thing is affected. If one thing is affected here, it affects everything else. It's a chain reaction. All right. So the angels are going to be loosed. All right, around this area. That means that things that are around this area is going to be greatly affected. Greatly affected, man. So
Yep.
this we believe through the Spirit that this is the beginning, all right, of those plagues the Lord is going to start putting around that area, okay, and also leading into the Third World War, because this potentially could cause a lot of friction among those European countries as well. It's definitely going to cause friction with NATO, EU, all right, and even Asia, okay, with China and so on and so forth, man. This could very well lead to bigger great things, because we are
Right.
in that time.
Mm-hmm.
We are in that time, man. So
Yeah.
we've seen all the signs of things happening domestically. All right, we've seen the signs of the obvious, prophecies that we all know about: sedition among men, the earthquakes in diverse places. All right, the signs of heaven. We've been seeing a lot of chariots lately. Okay,
Mhm.
kingdom against kingdom. We've had a lot of race wars. You got a lot of race frictions. Now they're talking about Moabites always getting attacked. You know, and they're
Mhm.
the new face of hate crimes now. All these different things that's happening. Look at the world in which we're living in now. That's a huge indication that yes, we are indeed at the end and ushering in unto the coming of our Lord. You had a lot of people having dreams, visions of the coming of the Lord. All of a sudden, people getting spiritual. You got people now believing on the name of the Lord. That's a heavy thing now.
Mhm.
A lot of women, especially. We're talking about it.
Mhm.
So we seen the spirit of Isaiah 4:1 coming in. Which we believe that that's the Lord. Basically starting to bring in the women and children, all right, into this truth to seal up the elect, man, because we're at the end. And the apostle Tahar said it a few years ago that he believes that the 144,000 had already been sealed. So hey, it's not a hard thing to see now, especially the way things are going and how fast the prophecies are moving. It wouldn't be a hard thing to see that yes, the 144,000 men, all right, have been sealed, and now the rest of the 1/3 are being sealed. You know,
Hey, well, it says and really it says in Revelation, because it's more like, we believe it through faith, but at the end of the day, we're gonna have to wait and see, because it does say in the book of Revelation that when the elect gets sealed, that all hell is gonna break loose. So the elect, like the brother saying, consists of the 144,000 and the innumerable multitude,
mhm,
and being that the 144,000 are the teachers, it
mhm.
will make sense that the Lord wakes them up first, and then they go and teach and wake up the rest of the elect. You know
God,
what I mean? So hey, it would make sense that the 144,000 be sealed to wake up the rest, but we all gotta continue to watch and see as well. But like the brother said, those angels being loosed in the east over there, when you read even in Daniel the 10th chapter, it tells you that the angels is an example of how the angels work on the minds of not only us, all right, who shall be heirs of salvation, but also these kings. Remember, Proverbs 21:1 says what? The heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. All right. Now, what is an example of the hand of the Lord? The angels, they're an extension. Just like Yahushai, he's a top angel, but
mhm,
he's likened onto the right hand of the Lord.
right,
Okay. So the angels who do the Lord's bidding are an extension of the Lord. You ever notice sometimes an angel will be talking to somebody, but speaking as though he is the Lord?
right, right.
Like when Ezra was speaking to Uriel, it's as though the Lord is using the angel as a mic for him to speak.
There you go.
So those angels are in the east to do a job, to work on the minds of kings. It says in Ezekiel 39 that the Lord is an evil thought is going to come into the minds of the Russians.
Right.
How is that going to happen? The
Mhm.
angels are going to be working there. But not only are they going to be working on the minds, they're going to be causing friction, causing certain events, so causing things that lead to other things. Because everything that happens in this realm is set up first in the spirit.
Mhm.
Like an example of that is in the book of Kings dealing with Ahab, when the Lord and the angels had the council up there, and then they said the spirit said, I will go and be a lying spirit in the mouth of his prophets. Then
Mhm.
it got manifested here on the earth.
Gone, gone.
Let
Yeah.
me keep going.
Going back to what you're saying about the angels are also going to be doing things. This is a something that the Lord has set up. That all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a ship gets stuck in the
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? That's ain't he, it ain't somebody who's driving the ship, a captain who just purposely ran it
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'm gonna just divert this like the Titanic. No,
Kodak. Let me drop the boat.
yeah, let me drive the boy and then he messed it up. No, this is literally the Lord sending his angels to set it up that way. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? So we could see a lot more disasters to come. You
Oh
know,
yeah, we will. Oh yes, we will.
hey, and even Esau saying it. He's like, look, it's time to start showing these people about these UFOs, man. Look, it
Right.
is what it is, and it's because I believe that it's because through a spirit the angels are showing themselves a lot more to the point where it's like, yo, listen, what they're showing is not like we could just observe and hide it from the people. Now it's like they're showing themselves to the people now. Regular people are seeing chariots
Hmm.
and they know what it is because
Hmm.
they watch our videos,
Hmm.
and they believe what they're seeing. You
Hmm.
see? And now it's to the point where it's like, yo, look, they're here. They're here. So look, let's just let the people know, hey, and demonize them. That at least we have a chance to get things together. Because if
Hmm.
we let these people know the truth about how these things work, they're gonna just tell us, look, just quit, just stop, and there'll be no war. So let's just demonize it and demonize their brothers who are here, which are the men of the Lord, and let's just go out, let's just go to war. So the spirit of war is definitely in the air, all right, and it's not gonna be anything peaceful from here on out till Yahushua comes in and quenches and ends all wars, man. You
Mm-hmm.
know, until he returns and put this place in subjection, the wars are gonna just keep escalating. It's just gonna keep going on and on and on from here on out, man. There'll be no more peace. All right, in the land. The peace is gonna be taken out of the land. Talking about the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's right.
Go ahead.
So this is Revelation 9, continuing at verse 15. It says, "And the four angels were loosed,
Mm-hmm.
which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men." And the third part of men is talking about Esau.
You
All right, because you have the three classifications. You have the sons of God, all right, sons of men, and sons of the wicked.
Yep.
Okay, and that's the sons of the wicked. That's the third part of men.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and how are they ultimately going to be slain? Through the ultimate prophecy, which is that seventh trumpet, which is that World War III. That's going to be the destruction. Remember, it says their place was found no more in heaven.
Yep.
You know, I beheld till the beast was slain and his body given to the. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. It says, shit. Verse 16. It says, "And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them."
Yep.
And that's heavy because, hey man, the Wadi Yahweh Shem Shai for allowing us to be able to understand this, putting the spirit on our elders to be able to break it down and teach it so that we can understand it. Because here it is, somebody reads this and they'll teach you in you know what I'm saying, horses horses coming down, 200,000 horses coming down. And they're literally picturing, you got some dude in the church, amen, and he's literally picturing a horse, like horses, 200,000 horses, you know? But we know it's talking about the missiles, the nuclear missiles.
Yep. Yep.
And here is the funny thing: people would rather believe that 200,000 horses are gonna come and rain down in America, but they won't believe that nuclear missiles are gonna rain down in America.
Right. Hey,
but look at Iran, that they're saying, and Russia saying they're getting ready to do something to this place, but then they're more willing to believe Pegasus is coming down than.
Hey, that's why the scriptures say that they shall believe a strong delusion.
That's it.
Give it unto a strong delusion. Yep.
That's it. Hey, the Wadi how about Shemel Shot, man?
God.
Yep. Verse 17. It says, "And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire." Once again, they probably imagine actual breastplates of fire. It says, "and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone." And once again, they're imagining, since when do lions breathe fire? You know, you ever met a fire-breathing lion before? Now, when you go into in the book of 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, Paul tells you that there's a kind of flesh for each animal, and there's no animal that's you know what I'm saying, ain't no fire-breathing lion. A lion has its nature, you know. But they'll see this and they'll actually imagine that. But this is actually going into those nuclear missiles. All right. Now, horses, remember, John is 2,000 years ago. He in his vision, when he's writing down in his vision, he's comparing what he's seeing to things he knows. All right. Not only words, but conditions. So horses represent what? Power, force, formation. You know, so he's likening it to what he's seeing. Just like today, if we saw something, we would liken it to terms that we know. All right.
Right. And horses back in the ancient times were normally used for war. You know, that was like a war thing. Just like today, they have military trucks and so on and so forth. Back then, it was horses. So John is using it as a reference to say that I saw a multitude of horses. When we see that, that means war. And this is what I saw is war talk, basically. You know? So, yeah.
It says, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. So you got a horse with a lion's head? No. All right. But it says, and out of their mouth, and that's going into the nuclear warheads. Okay. Because the missile carries warheads. And when, you know, when it gets to a certain point, they open, they spread out, and they boom, 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 and they do the damage. That's why it rains, you know, it rains down. It says, where we at? Okay, out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Okay, it says, by these was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. Once again, going into the nuclear missiles. It says for their power. You got another precept.
No, I was reading some of the precepts that the brothers is posting, but
Okay, Khan, we'll get those
yeah,
after this.
God.
Verse 19. For their power is in their mouth, all right, and that's the heads. It
Hmm.
says, and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. So now their tails were like unto serpents, because when you see the way a serpent or a snake moves, its tail is sort of like that, depending on how fast it's moving, but you see the head and then you see the tail moving afterwards. So when you look at those missiles, what you're seeing is the fire that's behind the tail, or behind at the bottom of the missile, is what's propelling that missile to go a certain direction. So if you can see, for example, when a missile goes and then it does like that in the air, because some
Hmm.
of the hypersonic missiles can do that. They can change course just like that.
Hmm.
And what do they leave behind? They leave like a smoke trail,
Hmm.
all right, which sort of does look like a body of a serpent,
Yep.
So John doesn't know nuclear missiles. He doesn't know the term nuclear missiles, but he knows what a serpent looks like.
Hmm.
So he's like, in my whole life, the vocabulary of anything that I've ever learned, what's the closest thing I can compare this to?
Yep.
And then that's what he wrote. That's all she wrote. All right, so it says, um, verse 19, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. It says, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. So
Hmm.
you're going to have certain devils, all right, certain people who are still not going to repent after all this. And why do you think we're here? Why do you think we got the scepter? We're supposed, we're gonna put it to good use.
That's it.
That's it. We're gonna beat it into them.
Hmm.
And that's it. It says, verse 21, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. And they ain't gonna take the blame. They don't have integrity. They're
Nope.
gonna look at you like that freaking demon from Lord of the Rings, that my precious, that thing, like as if they're innocent. Like what did I do? Freaking Jacob Rothschild's bald ass head. Like, what did I like? As if he's innocent, man.
Bill Gates.
Lord gonna do something to you people, man.
Yeah, I don't think I think you can control it from there. You could click on some of the
Con, yeah. Um, let's see. Where should we start? I
just
know
grab a couple and then we close it out.
Con. Yep. The brother put up here a Habamoth, 2nd Ezra 6:22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall be found empty. And
Yep.
that's like that could happen over like a situation, if not like this, similar to this. One thing halts the whole thing, and then suddenly,
Hmm.
because the store is gonna call for more inventory, and they're gonna say, "Yo, we can't. This is impossible. We can't get it to you."
Hmm.
Now the dudes are in the store starving, and you know what that leads to.
Gone.
Let's see. Uh, Yep. This is a True Awakening 777. Amos 9 and 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. My goodness. And that what you think is going to happen to this place?
Hmm.
Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord, which also links up with Jeremiah 30 and 7, that Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. He's not going to be utterly destroyed.
Hmm.
All right.
Yep.
And all right, we'll get this to Prince of Yahweh, Micah 6 and 12. For the rich men thereof are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth. Exactly. And because of that, guess what? They're gonna go through this judgment, and you're gonna have those, like we read in Revelation 9, those demons that ain't gonna want to repent. But that's okay though. We like a good slave, a hard-headed one, because then the fun is in breaking them,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm. God, that's
So,
true. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Wanted to just touch on that through the spirit. The spirit had it, it happened yesterday, but it had it today where it had to come out. So Lord willing, brothers and sisters who tuned in have been edified. We're truly at the end of this thing, man. Don't lose your faith. Don't look at what's happening around the world and let it, hinder your thoughts, man. Let your faith, be stronger than your fear. All
Right.
right, and stay stable, man. This, you got the wisdom. Pray that the Lord keep you stable in these times, man, because it's always about prayer. Prayer, prayer, prayer.
Right.
So hey, stay in the spirit as best as you can. Stay watching, stay vigilant, be circumspect. You know, and until next time, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh, Bahashem,
Shai,
Bahashem, Bahashem,
Tawada Bashmi Al Shai, Tawada for tuning in, and Shalom.
Shalom.